This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On Air.
Welcome to Around the World in 80 Minutes, a podcast series based on the book Around the World in 80 Years by Julie Woods, that's me, illustrated by Ron Esplin, that's you.
It is. Thank you.
In these 8 10-minute episodes, we are going to cover the 80 countries visited by artist and adventurer Ron Esplin by the time he was 80. Ron, we've reached your 8th decade. You've already been to 63 countries, and this decade goes from 2015 to 2024. How are you feeling?
Oh, yeah, I feel pretty well travelled now.
We're not there yet. Okay, you've still got some more to go. We sold our family home at 759 Highgate in 2015. I was diagnosed with melanoma. I went into Dunedin Public Hospital and had a chunk removed from my back. And when we got the results from that saying that the area around the melanoma was clear, we left the hospital and went round to the travel agent with a wish list of places we wanted to go to before we die. We're about to hear what they are, but that's what happened. In the 4th of July 2015, we went on a 107-day adventure around North America, the UK, Europe, and coming back through Japan. We headed to Southeast Asia in 2018 on a 4-country adventure, and in 2024 you visit your latest 3 countries in the South Pacific. What is the illustration for this podcast, please?
The illustration is of Charles Bridge in Prague in Czechia. And
what do you like about it?
Well, I have a habit of this is just amongst you and I and the listening people out there who won't allow the secret to be known. But I often clear all the people that were in that location, and often just put Julie and I in there. In this is one of those cases. Because I love the idea of Julie and I walking across that bridge. I did leave a few people in just to make sure that it wasn't completely isolated.
In this decade, Ron, you visited 17 countries. What are they, please?
They are Canada, Slovakia, Hungary, Czechia, Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Russia, Finland, Samoa, South Korea, Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam, Tonga, and Vanuatu.
Canada was the first one at the top of that list. What attracted you to Canada?
Canada is like a really friendly America. I know that the Americans are quite friendly and they're quite proud of it, but the Canadians are really friendly. They also welcome us with open arms because they think that we are kind of brothers on the other side of the world, other side of the globe.
Yeah, that's right. We left Canada and headed to the UK, driving from Land's End to John O Groats, and then went to Amsterdam and travelled down the Rhine and the Main and the Danube before ending up in Budapest. That's a pretty astonishing part of the world, Budapest.
It is indeed, and it became clear to me that Budapest is known as Budapest because Buda is on one side of the Danube and Pest is on the other side of the Danube. It's actually a twin city.
And your impressions? Anything can you remember about the food or the music? Or I think the architecture stood out to you.
Well, there's a wonderful clock tower that is famous worldwide, and we watched the antics of this particular piece of mechanical wonderment. Although the common things are often the things that get to you. and I was ready for a haircut. And I thought I had my iPad with me, and I was able to look up a place that cut hair. Quite hard to find in these cities. They don't allow too much change to the architecture, and they don't want signs all over the place. Anyway, I finally hunted down this guy to get my haircut. It was just I couldn't find it for a start off, and then finally looked through the door, and he was just ushering someone out of the door that he'd cut, and the guy that had got his hair cut at that point had no hair left, and I thought, well, this is a good advertisement. So anyway, I went in. He said, "What your name?" He didn't speak any English.
Much.
Not well enough to ask that. And I said, "I'm Ron." I said, "What your name?" He says, I'm trying to remember what his name
Baba.
was. Baba. My name's Baba, and I am a Baba. And so that was a good start, and I was in the right place. So what happened?
He sure was. He was more of a shearer, I think, than a
Well,
Bowie.
that's right. The sign was there, so I should have taken more notice. But never mind.
The people on the cruise, when you came back to the hotel, were horrified. Where's all your hair gone, Ron? We left there, the Eastern Europe, stayed there really, and went up the Baltic. Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia were on your wish list. Why?
Well, because that's really the bridge between the Russian states and the communist states, if you like, and the free world over on the other side. And I hadn't visited any of those places. A certain amount of sort of uncertainty. A certain amount of uncertainty. How can you have a certain amount of uncertainty? But that's what I had. And we went there because, thank goodness we did, because it was easy to consider that this was a place to be a bit frightened of. However, all those thoughts were put aside. We found out they're seats of literature and learning. They all have universities, very, very fine universities. Young people flock to those universities, and the atmosphere in all those Eastern European places it's just wonderful, isn't it?
Sophisticated is probably...
That's the word.
Yeah, it is. And that moved from there into Russia?
Yes, that's a different situation altogether. Moving through from those lovely places, beautiful buildings, and you're suddenly in agricultural Russia. How agricultural it is really almost, well, it's not, I wouldn't say it's third world, but the buildings are very, very dilapidated, and it really doesn't look as if an awful lot's happening there. Given that, the fairly flat and uninteresting landscape that I tried to, every now and again a little village would pop up, and that would have usually a very nice church, beautifully decorated in that Slavic way.
Contrasted, of course, by St. Petersburg, which we headed to. Of course. A majestic city.
Absolutely. And they know how to keep pretty their well, what would you call it? The jewels in the crown. Mm. So if you go to Moscow and all these, I didn't go to Moscow, but St. Petersburg's beautiful, and the Hermitage there is just fantastic. And a lot their military might is shown there. Of course, you can see the ships. The Russians themselves are very tend to be. Not too keen or interested in talking to you. But if you speak to them in Russian, suddenly they light up.
Wow, we've gone around the world in 80 minutes. Can you believe it, Ron? We have begun in 1944, ended up in 2024 with a big party and the launch of the book Around the World in 80 years. Congratulations, you made it to 80 countries. Just fantastic. You've been listening to Around the World in 80 minutes with Julie Woods and Ron Esplin. If you'd like to contact Ron, you can do so by sending him an email to ronesplinartist@gmail.com, or you can Send him a text or phone call on 021 358 082. That is podcast 8 of 8. Thank you for going around the world with us in 80 minutes. I'm that blind woman, Julie Woods, proud sponsor of Around the World in 80 Minutes. After going blind in 1997, I said why not so many times. I am now a professional speaker, author, advocate and coach. If you're looking for someone to help you or your team turn your no into why not, then why not send me an email to julie@thatblindwoman.co.nz or phone or call me on 021 913 513. Why not?
This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.